Welcome back and welcome to chapter 7. And this chapter is going to be all about doing some more game dev to make the game more interesting, more fun to play. And we're going to start with the fact that we've got 2 levels, but we've got no way to get from our first level to our second level. And we're going to address that in this video. So the first thing we need to do is go back to our spaceship level, and then we're going to create a way of, when we exit the door on that level, of loading this level that we're in now. So let's just go back to our previous level. Mine's now called Chapter 7 Begin because I keep renaming them as I go. So let's open that up. And here's the level as we left it in a previous chapter. And what we need to do is... Oh, hello, I've gone too fast. When we go outside of the room here, we need something that's going to trigger the loading of the next level. So that's what we'll create first of all. So we're going to do that with a box collision. And we'll create a blueprint that's going to hold that for us. So let's just get straight into it. So the first thing I'm going to do is go into my blueprints folder. There it is. I'm going to right click and choose a new blueprint class. It's going to be an actor. And I'm going to call it BP_level transition. There we go, that's lovely. Let's open that bad boy up so we can do what we need to do. Okay, here it is. And what we need to do is just start by putting a box collision in here. So let's click on Add Up in Components. I'll type box, and box collision comes up. And I'm just going to allow it to just be called box. I don't need to give it a fancy name or anything. Box will do. We don't need to change the size or shape of it or anything because we can do that once we put it into the level, but we do need to set up the logic for it. So let's go into the event graph. We've got all these events here that we don't need, so I'm just going to get rid of those. And what I want to do is I'm going to right click on the box here. We're going to add an event, and I'm going to choose, or I'm going to start typing rather, overlap, and I'm going to do on component begin overlap. Perfect. And we need to know what is going to overlap with this. So other actor, we need to cast to blip character. We need to know, is it blip that we are overlapping with? And if it is, we can do something, can't we? And the thing we want it to do is to open our second level. So before we do that, let's just double check the name of it. And we have to type this exactly. So let's go to my levels folder. There it is. And it's called landscape. And I'm just going to leave it with that name for now with a capital L. So let's set it so that that will load up. So I'm going to create an open level node, and I'm going to do open level by name. And then this level name here is where we need to type the new level. So I need to type it exactly as it appears in the content browser, which is like that. And that's it. That will do it. So on begin overlap with the box, make sure it's blip character. And if that happens, we're going to open the new level. So let's give that a test. I'm just going to compile and save that blueprint. I am going to leave it open for now. And then rather than messing around, what I'm going to do is just put it near the door so that I can test it without having to put it outside of the room yet. So let's get the blueprints. Here is my level transition. There it is. And then what I would like to do is just place it in front of the door. So I know if I run towards the door, it's going to trigger this happening. So let's click on play. And I can't see it, but I know it's there. So I run towards it. And it's trying to work, but we're having a problem. It's actually creating an infinite loop. You can see it's all jittery and going crazy. So I'm just going to escape out of that. And we have to investigate this problem. So let's have a look at what's happening then. We've created a bit of a clash. If we look at our character blueprint, so I'm going to go into my blip character and my blip BPs. Here it is. And I'm going to try and explain to you what's happening. When you transition level in the way that we're doing it, what happens is everything is destroyed, including your character. And we've got something set up here that will make that happen, destroy and reset. So what's happening is we want it to load up the new level. That causes the character to be destroyed. And then we get open level by name. And then that opens, but that causes the character to be destroyed again. And we get into this infinite loop, which is absolutely not what we want. You can also see from what I've got going on here, we'll put another little fix in whilst we're here. I'm currently loading up an early version of this, which is not ideal. And what I want to happen is whenever I destroy my character, I want it to load the level that I'm already in. So we get like a quick reset. And we can do that by just getting the name of the level we're in, which we'll do. So let's do get level, current level name, that's what it's called. There we go. So when we destroy, we're going to find out what level we're on. And then the return value is what's going to be plugged into the open level on destroy. So that just alleviates another little issue that I was going to have. You might not have this issue because you hopefully will have just been working on the same version of that room, but because of the way I'm doing it, that's just a little fix that I need to put in. Okay, so back to the fix then. We're going to stop this infinite loop. What we need to do is put in a condition that says, if we're transitioning level, we don't want to run this destroy and reset because something's happening. So we can just do that with a boolean. So we've already got some variables here. Let's just create a new boolean. So click on the plus there for variables, and I'm just going to call it is transitioning level. Question? Is transitioning level? And it's going to be a boolean, and if we just compile that, we can see that it will default to false, which is what we want. By default, it won't be transitioning. So that's good. Let's save that. So what we need to do now is go back to our BP level transition blueprint, and before we load up the new level, we're going to set that variable to true, because we will be transitioning level. And luckily, we're already casting to the blip character, so we can use that. So if we come out of as blip BP character, we're going to set is transitioning. There it is. And we're going to set it to true. And let's just link all that up. Brilliant. So let's just compile and save that. That should be all that we need to do now in this one. But we now just need to add that condition here. So in our event destroyed, what we need to do is have this only happen if transitioning level isn't true. So what we're going to do then is we're going to get is transitioning level. That's going to be our condition. So we're going to get it. And we need to check with a branch, is this false? If it is false, then we can do the reset and open the current level. But if it's true, that means we're transitioning level and we've got that level opening and the character being destroyed elsewhere, and we don't need to do it. Also, just as a quick tip here, I don't need to set that transitioning back to false anywhere, because what's going to happen is when we transition level, it's going to destroy our character, create a new one, and then all of the variables will be set back to default. So that will just default back to false. So no further changes needed on that. So let's compile and save. Okay, let's test it again. So I'm going to go back to my level. I'm going to click on play, and I'm going to run towards that transition blueprint that I've put in there. And then it puts me nicely into the new level. No issues at all. And then if we just check as well that everything else behaves as it should. So if I just let him die in the fire, there he goes, he's dying now. So after the little wait that we put in, it will cause the same level to reload. So everything is now working as it should. Okay, so that's the logic setup. But before we can say that this step is finished, we need to make it look cool, don't we? So we need to have this outside the level. And we also don't want it to look like nothing, because at the moment, if we go outside the level, it's just an abyss of black nothingness. We don't want that. We want it to look like he's going into a bright outside environment. And we're going to cheat it a little bit, but you'll see what we're going to do. So let's put this cube outside the level. So we're going to put it about here, I think. And I'm just going to make it a little bit taller and a little bit wider, just so that if the player does go out of here, they can't miss it. Perfect. And now what I'm going to do is just put in some static mesh cubes, and I'm going to put an emissive material on there to make it look like it's bright outside of the room. So what I'm going to do is just go into my content folder, and I'm going to type for just a search for cube. And there is already a static mesh cube in the starter content. So I'm going to put one of those in the level. There it is. And then I'm going to flatten it, because this is going to be like the ground, and make it a little bit wider. And then let's bring it so that it's in line with the door. I think I'll have it slightly wider than that. That'll be good. And get it fairly central. That looks okay. And we need it to be outside of the door. It's got to be something that our player can step onto. Okay, I think that looks good. Just make sure it's not protruding inside our room. I don't think it is. That one looks okay. Right, so I'm going to duplicate that. So if you remember, we can duplicate by just holding Alt on the keyboard and clicking and dragging. We need one up at the top. And then I'm going to get one more copy here. And I'm just going to make it thinner. And if I just bring it down, I need to make it taller. So we're just creating like a tunnel, really. It doesn't matter what it looks like, because it'll just look like a glow by the time we're done. So I've got all of those, and then just one final thing, I need one at the end. When I was writing this step, I forgot to put one at the end, and it really frustrated me. So let's now make that wider. There we go. So that will now kind of encapsulate the outside. At the moment it's going to look rubbish though, so let's make a material that's going to make it look like it makes sense. Hopefully. I'll cross my fingers. It should look good. It did when I practiced it. Let's go into the materials folder, so I can just get rid of that search. Let's go materials. And right click to make a new one, new material, and I'm just going to call it M_, I'll call it outside glow. Doesn't really matter what you call it, as long as you know what it is. So let's open this up. And then we just need a constant 3 vector. So I'm going to hold 3 on my keyboard and left click, and that's going to create my constant 3 vector. The colour for this is going to go into base colour and into emissive colour. The emissive, of course, being the thing that makes it glow. We will have to run it through a multiplier as well, but we'll do that once we've got the colour set. So let's click on the colour swatch. So I'm going to go into white. I'm going to go into the orangey yellow part of the spectrum and then just make it quite bright, I think. So we'll go for something like that to start off with, maybe a little more orange. And then I'm just going to check my notes. How much did I want to multiply it by for the emissive? Apparently I'm going to multiply it by 5. So let's just go multiply, type 5 in there, and plug that into emissive colour. Like so. And then we can save that material and apply it to those other bits that we've got outside the level. These things here. So it's all of these static mesh cubes that I've created. So what I can do is select them all at once. And then I'm going to go to my material for that and just search for outside. There it is. And you'll see that's what it looks like. I can then see that I don't really like the position of that last one. So, oh no, everything's open now. Cube, let's find it again. So I'm just struggling to select it because of the smoke particles, so I'm going to get it from my outliner instead and just move that back a little bit. It doesn't really matter, it'll still look fine to the play, it was just bothering me that it wasn't lining up. Okay, so we've got a couple more changes to make, so make sure that nothing's protruding into the room, so you can see that is. So let's get that outside of the room. I'm going to select them all and move them all back by another tiny bit. Okay, let's try this again. Are they now protruding? No, they're not. So that's good. So the only thing I've got to fix now is there's a little bit of light bleeding through. And that's to do with the door blueprints. If I zoom in on that, I should be able to select it. There we go. And I just need to resize it a little bit. So I think the scale on the height needs to be something like 1.1. There we go. And that is now stopping that from bleeding through. The other problem is it's going to bleed through the ground as well because we didn't seal that up earlier. Or I didn't. Maybe you did. Maybe you saw this coming. But I didn't. So what I'm going to do is get this piece here that's above. If it'll let me get it without getting the smoke. There we go. And I'm just going to duplicate this down. Just to make sure that, again, no light's going to get through. Perfect. Okay, so hopefully now we've made that look cool. Let's test it. So I'm just going to save the level first. Click on play. And then we go to the door won't let us through because we don't have the key. We go and get the key. Ta-da! And then the door should open. It's really bright out there. Maybe we should go and explore. And then we go, and we're in the new level. Okay, we're going to finish this step by just doing one more tidy up. So we want it to look like he's coming out the back of that ship. So we just need to adjust the player start in the landscape level. So let's just make that change and we'll be done. So where's my levels folder? There it is. Into the landscape level. And then we need to find our player start and we need to move it. So I've moved it over there in a previous step. But what I want to do now is make sure that the character's facing out. That's that blue arrow there. And then we've just got to get a position that we like the look of. So what will happen is if I go too close, I'll get this bad size thing. And that's Unreal Engine telling me that I'm too close to some other collisions somewhere. So it might be that I just need to move it up a little bit. There we go. That was because I was just intersecting with the rock. So I want to get it pretty much as close to looking like he's coming out of the ship as I can. That's pretty good so far. Can I move down again? No. Okay, I think that's a good position. Let's give that a try. So we just need to go back to the other level. Oh, hang on. Wait. Before I do that, let's save that change. Otherwise it won't remember that I've moved my player. And we'll go through the door again. So get the key card, open the door, and then transition level. And now it looks like we have, look, just come out of the ship. Oh, so good. Gameplay, guys. We're getting gameplay. Okay, save everything. We're done. Let's just go to save all, just in case. Okay, that's everything for this step. But before we go to the next step, I want to show you one further problem that we're having. And in order to do that, I need to make it so we can get damaged in the new level. So let's go to the landscape level. And I'm just going to get the fire damage blueprint. So there it is. I'm going to drop it here, make it a little bit bigger. So just make it a bit wider like that. And we're going to have an area of fire damage kind of underneath this engine, I guess. And then we need to get some of the blueprint effect fire in there as well. So let's get one that's already there. I'm going to hold Alt and move it down. And we want it to look like it's kind of in the ground. So maybe the jet fuel's so hot that it causes the ground to catch fire. That's unfortunate, isn't it? Right, let's put some of these around. We'll make a few copies. Like that. Okay, so that area now looks like a hazard, doesn't it? Okay, so if we walk over to that, we should be able to take damage. So let me show you the problem. So we're going to go back to the ship level. Oh, let me just make sure I save everything again. So let's go to the ship level. And we're going to start the game, and I'm going to take some damage before I go through. So I'm going to go down to about 50 health. So there's 90, 80, 70, 60, 50. There we go. So I've got 50 health left. If you remember that I told you that when we transition level, what happens is it destroys everything, including the player, and it resets the variables. Well, that's what's going to happen. So if I now go into my new level, and remember I should be on 50 health, but if I go and stand in this fire, you can see that the health started going down from 100 again, which is not what we want. So in the next step, what we're going to have to do is fix that problem using something called a game instance. So I will see you in the next step where we will do that. Thanks for watching and supporting the channel. If you'd like to help me create more content like this, please consider becoming a patron on Patreon. The contributions I get through Patreon make a huge difference in keeping this channel going. Remember to like, comment and subscribe to make sure you don't miss my upcoming tutorials. Your support and engagement mean the world to me and help my channel continue to grow. Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.